starting fresh. Some of you, with regards to grade, you got first semester maybe not the grade you wanted. Let's talk about grades real quick. Some of you might be on a borderline. I'll say sometimes in the class you want to talk to me. So let's say you're at a 69.9, you want to go to 70. You're at a 79.9, you want to go to 80. 89.9, you want to go to 90. You're right on that edge. Well, what will it take to bump or round over? Well, three things. I look at your extra credit. Did you do any? Right? Is the grade that you received on the final the grade you want? So did you score, if this is your situation, you're at 69.9, did you score like a solid C on the final or better? Or if you're at 79.9, did you just score a solid D or better, right? Because if not, I won't bump you over because it doesn't tell me that you know the material. But if you did, it says that you know semester for the semester of the material on the final that you scored a B. That that's a good assessment of why maybe I should bump you over. And the last thing is very important, no missing work. That's my homework. Everything I assign in here, you turn in. So no missing work, okay? And it could be late, but if it's missing, that's not good. There's just a blank spot there. So those three things, if you're there and you're at 0.9, I think I've already done this, but talk to me before you leave today. Again, there'll be a few minutes at the end of class and I'll be more than happy to look at, okay? Questions right now? All right, so the story I'm about to tell is true. No names have been changed to protect the innocent because I'm totally guilty in the story. But the point of the story is I'm a firm believer in second chances, firm believer in redemption, and turning our life around. And with regards to some of you may have had a choice that you made in life that wasn't wise, wasn't smart. Anybody have a situation like that? You've made a bad choice at this point in your life? Raise your hand if you have. I've made probably over 100 of them, maybe 1,000. I don't know. So every day we make choices. Every hour we make choices. Are those choices wise or the right thing to do? So I'm going to tell you a story where I made probably, 101 night. At least 10 in 20 minutes. But yet there's still a chance to turn things around if you've made poor choices. With regards to the state of our nation, we have a lot of people who are addicted to various things, whether it's alcohol, drugs, opioids, whatever, right? There's just a lot of different forms of addiction out there. You may know somebody personally. You may be addicted. I don't know. But with regards to second chances, there's a lot of people I know who have turned their lives around, and whether it's something that they've reached out and cried out to God to, or whether they've tried to do it on their own, but there are stories out there, and I think we've all heard at least one of somebody who has had their life changed around. And I am one that is fitting the story, so I like sharing it because starting a new year, starting fresh, and give you a sense of knowing that there is a chance to turn your life around. So this story takes place exactly 40 years ago to the month. I was 18. I was out of high school. 79 I graduated. 1980, the summer of 80, I was purchased my first street bike. It was a Kawasaki 650. It was a very fast motorcycle. And I always wanted a street bike. They had dirt bikes all the way up to that point. And I got to go back a little bit. With regards to growing up, when I was 12, parents got divorced. Kind of rocked my world. Went, to the point of having good grades. My grades kind of went downhill. And maybe some can you attest to, when your parents got divorced. And if you've never experienced, hopefully you never do, because it's no fun at all. My dad remarried within a year or two. That didn't last too long. So in junior high, high school, my dad divorced my first stepmom, and then a year later got married again. And it was just weird and wacky. I'll just be straight up in front. I mean, I lived at home with my dad, but because my mom, the reason why they got divorced, she was an alcoholic, and ended up, they had a lot of issues in their marriage before that happened, before they separated. But the final straw that broke the camel's back, she got in an accident, real bad accident, totaled the car. She had damaged her jaw really bad and stuff. And anyways, that was kind of just like, that was it. So they're done. And so I became what was called a latchkey kid. Anybody know what that is? Latchkey kid? Latchkey. So you come home and nobody's there, right? So I come home after school, nobody's there. Nobody really got home because they both worked till about 6, 7 at night. And pretty much on the weekends, they were gone a lot doing different things, like outdoors, hiking, skiing, you know. So I was pretty much on my own, raising myself at age 15, 14. So my second stepmom, my dad's third wife, she had this motorcycle, it's like a dirt bike that she had ridden a little bit, not a lot. And when she married my dad, she brought it with her and ended up, didn't run, but I was pretty mechanically savvy, and she said, if you get it running, you can use it, it's yours. So I did, I got it running, and I rode that thing every day after school, almost every day. There was a field not too far from our house, just wide open, and just went out there and just dirt, mud, whatever, just had a lot. So I got to learn how to ride motorcycles on this bike and just had a fun time doing it. So anyways, fast forward, now I'm in high school, graduated in '79, Hiram Johnson, lived in the Rosemont area, South Watt, lived there my whole life, and ended up getting a job at a restaurant. I've been a cook for a couple of years now, and I got a job at a real nice restaurant downtown called the Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn, John Q restaurant. It's at the very top, like 20th floor. And at the time, it was the tallest building in Sacramento. I mean, now it's just really tall buildings, but it's kind of dwarfed now, but it's down there. And I ended up working down there just part-time as a cook, and school rolled around. I started going to college at American River, just junior college, getting my general out of the way. And I got this motorcycle, a street bike, I purchased during the summer to save gas because my truck got like 10 miles a gallon, which is horrible. But the bike got like 45 miles a gallon, so I just rode the bike a lot, commuted over. I ended up, when school started back up in September, you know, riding, commuting, and then working at night, so I was real busy, pretty much just working in school. Well, I turned 18 in September of that year, '79. And right after that, I kept it out within a couple weeks, I got 2 speeding tickets on the way to school, commuting. And, you know, it wasn't anything major, like, you know, 45 and a 35, or, you know. So, my friend who I rode with a lot, he had one of the fastest, I guess it was at the time, the fastest production motorcycle ever made. It was a Kawasaki 1000 turbocharged bike. It did like, I think, 160, 70, 80 miles an hour out of the box, right? No modifications. It was just blistering fast. And I do, you know, high 10s and a quarter mile. It was just unbelievable. So I ended up, you know, we rode a lot together and did stupid things. And again, I hung around with kind of an unsavory group. Again, we just made poor choices. My wife's favorite statement is 1 boy half brain, 2 boys no brain. And when you get 4 boys, I don't know what that is, negative brain power. But we did some stupid stuff. And it wasn't malicious to the point, kind of borderline, but you know, it was one of those things that we're just bored, and what do we do tonight, kind of type of deal. So, not hanging around the right group, and this one guy who was a motorcycle I rode with, he'd been in jail, and you know, he was crazy. But he tells me that my 3rd ticket as an adult, if I get a 3rd ticket, I lose my license. And this kind of goes to when you guys see Facebook postings, Instagram, tweets from people, you know, we've all seen that either about you or someone else that are not true, right? We've all experienced that. You've seen something that's not true, call it fake news, whatever. But I assume this guy's not lying to me, he's telling the truth, and you know, it's gospel, and he wouldn't lie to me. So that's in the back of my mind, thinking, third ticket, I'm gonna lose my life. So I ended up, during the winter time, I store my bike away, street bike away, and in the garage, and I ride my truck. And so it was January, I think around January 20th. I was downtown working at the restaurant, and it was a Friday night, and it was really slow, and my boss said, hey, it's kind of dead tonight, you want to take off early? I go, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I take off and go home. Now, back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, downtown, where the Doco region's at now and everything, downtown, L Street and J Street, was a big car show. I kid you not. It was like every weekend, everybody was out there partying, and I was like, you know, weren't allowed to drink where but people drank and stuff. So it was just a big mecca for a haven of party goers, and it became a real problem. And they ended up outlawing it by about mid-'80s, not too long after my stunt. But with regards to J Street, if you're driving down J Street, there are cars on both sides and people on both sides. So think of 1,000 people. If you've ever been downtown at the fireworks show, whatever, on J Street, 1,000 people on L Street, it's a big loop. And goes down to about 15th, I guess, and it comes back at 2nd, 3rd, something like that. So anyways, I'm driving home down J Street, which is I typically go, no different. And I see a friend who is there, I knew from high school. And he waves me over, and I pull off, and he says, hey, I got a car I want you to work on, and paint, because I did body work and paint. Took some classes on that, and got to be pretty good at it. And I go, well, where's it at? And he goes, it's not here, I gotta go home again. I go, well, I just got off work and smell, just cooking, and so I said, let me go home, take a shower, and meet you back here. He goes, okay. I said, like maybe in an hour. So we meet back about 10:30. So I take off, he takes off. I head home, go to Rosemont area, where I live, and end up taking a shower and putting clothes on and get ready to take off. And I'm thinking, man, it is a mild night. January, sometimes January's Sacramento are mild, other times they're really cold and raining like we have now. But it was very mild. I mean, the temperature outside was like low to mid 50s. And for, at night, that is pretty mild for January. So I had a coat, and I haven't ridden my bike in a while, so I could ride my bike. So anyways, I had it in storage, put the battery on, put air in the tires, start right up, I take off. So I drive downtown on a motorcycle, and I hadn't really gotten into downtown yet, but I'm kind of in downtown proper, but not where they're supposed to be my friend. And I get in a race with this guy on his motorcycle. So we're racing, we come up to the stoplight, and so I'm sitting there, and I look over at his bike, and I can see it's heavily modified. He's seeing my bike's heavily modified. And we're, our visors are up, we're talking, what we've done to each other's bike and everything. So anyways, I look at the light, and I'm talking to the person, and the light in the periphery for, and this is L Street, I'm on like 3rd or 4th. And the light turns green. And I, I'm looking at that light, not my light, but that light for the L Street traffic. And I said, okay, see you later. Put the visor down to take off. I'm in the middle of my intersection now, slowly going through it, and I'm looking at my light's red. First thing I think, you idiot. So I'm not paying attention, I'm yakking at somebody. And first thing I looked at was my right, because it's a one-way street, see if I'm gonna side slide. And thankfully, all the cars are still stopped down the street or two back. And I can see one of them's a cop. The lights aren't on, but I can just see the silhouette of the lights on top of the truck. Wonderful. So I keep going, and now that third ticket's in the back of my mind, what am I gonna do? And I'm thinking. So I get in J Street, and again, mind you, there's hundreds of cars, a lot of people. And there's like seven cars between myself and the police officer, who I believe is the one who saw me, around the red light. I'm waiting, no lights are turning on, no lights, and anytime it's gonna turn on the lights, and sure enough, turns on the lights. So cars start to pull over, traffic finally starts to move. I get up to about 7th, 8th Street, and I make a turn, see if he really wants me, and I know he does, but just make sure. So I turn on to 8th Street, and now there's no cars between him and me, and he's about 50 yards back, and he hits the siren, just real quick, whoop, and I go, okay. So, what do I do? Pick door number 1, pull over, get a ticket, or door number 2, outrun the police officer, Bob. I'm gonna go door number 2. Okay, good luck. So, I take off, blow through the K Street red light, bad choice. Go through the next red light, L Street, bad choice. I'm on L Street doing 70 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour zone, bad choice. Get on the freeway, 80, headed towards the Bay Area. I live in Rosemont. What are you doing? Look in my rearview mirror, and there's now 2 cop cars. Lights flare. This is not good. I mean, I am like, you ever see the National Geographic movies with the rabbit and the fox out in the snow? The rabbit's running around, and there's a fox, right? So I'm the rabbit. I just want to get back into my hole, and the fox is the police, right? And it was, my heart was pounding. It was just like panic, fear, everything just stricken, just hitting it. It's like, can't believe what I'm doing. It's like an idiot. And now I'm starting to think, if I pull over now, they're going to kick my ass, right? So I'm thinking, don't want to stop. And like I say, law enforcement has a difficult job dealing with idiots like me to make bad choices. And we all have made them. And it's one thing, they deal with us on a daily basis. And some dealerships are making bad choices all the time. They're getting arrested all the time. This is my first, and I'm thinking, but I hear stories. Like, and a friend of my stepmom's, her son, a colleague at work that she worked with, her son, a month earlier, she told me the story. I tried to outrun the police. A couple minutes on a motorcycle, he wiped out, and the cops ended up, said he resisted arrest. He had a broken arm and stuff. And it's like, I don't, who to believe. But at the same time, I hear those stories and thinking, oh my God. So I don't want to pull over. It's like, did I kick my butt? So I'm fearing for my life at this point. So I'm headed up towards the Bay Area. I'm like, okay, how long can I do this for? So I see Harbor Boulevard. I say, okay, I'm going to get off the freeway, get around over the freeway, and head back the other way. So I get off on Harbor. Right as I get off Harbor, about halfway up the interchange, there's an undercover cop tries to cut me off here. He's got the red light hanging from his rearview mirror, right? He stops, his bumper's like here. Here's the asphalt guttering down here. I'm able to squeeze through the front of his bumper and the asphalt guttering. Go on the other side. Now there's a highway patrol waiting over there. I go past the highway patrolman. I hear start his car. He takes off. Now I'm back on the freeway, but I'm headed back towards home, my little rabbit hole. And now there's 3 cars behind me. Can't get anywhere. Oh yeah. So I have lived in, at this point, Sacramento area, and I've been to the Bay Area, been to the Sierras, been all over California, 18 years of living. And I've never taken Jefferson Boulevard exit. The exit right before you get to the river, you get into Sacramento. So I take it. Man, I'm going to lose them in here. So I get off, left, right, left. I think, I lost them. And I'm looking around thinking, I'm lost, right? I had no clue where I'm at. And again, this is before cell phone, GPS, and all that. So I'm just slowly going through the neighborhood trying to figure out how to get back. And I ended up just finding a point where I can see, I can see the freeway down there, and I can see a cop's lights, waiting by the freeway. Okay, I gotta get home. So I take off, blow past the cop, get back on the freeway. Now I'm on the freeway again. Now there's 4 cars behind me. So I'm coming up down to the big spaghetti interchange, 99, 50, down by UC Davis Med Center. You know what I'm talking about? Big freeway interchange. And there's a cop not too far from the interchange that's doing this across the freeway with his lights. He's slowly going this way. And it's about midnight now in terms of 11:30, midnight, right around there. Not a lot of cars around, but still traffic. And I got cars behind me, and he's kind of forcing me over the side of the road, so I'm now in the fast lane. And I'm coming up there real close. I'm getting about a quarter mile away. I'm like, okay, now I'm in the emergency lane. At the last minute, I'm like, here's the guardrail, and here's his front bumper. Just like, last minute, he stops and I go past him. And then right after that, this guy appears out of nowhere, this police officer, and he gets really close. And probably from here to the wall. And a motorcycle plate, right, is only about that big, so he gets pretty close to the plate. So he ends up staying on me, right behind me for about 15, 20 seconds, and then he backs off. And I had a friend who's going to Highway Patrol said, the chase gets really bad, they'll back off sometimes just because of the danger of everybody involved. So he backed off, and then I got off on 65th, headed south towards Elk Grove, like Foreign Perkins, and back up the South Walk, came back up, and then toward the backside of my neighborhood, Rosemont area. Looked around, no cars, went driving to my neighborhood, and didn't get on my street, but I was on a street next to it. I looked down my street where I could see my house. I didn't see any police officers, so I made a loop, went back, opened the garage door, put the bike in, shut the garage door, go in the house, and I have a habit of when I get into my room and I go to bed, my clothes I just set right on my desk, which is right next to my king-size waterbed back in the day. My helmet and boots, always wore, put in the closet. And I get into bed, and I'm waiting. And again, I want to preface this, I wasn't a Christian back then. I became a Christian around age 19, accepted Christ at that time. But I believed in God, but I just and I was even praying that night, I was like, God, get me out of this one because I really screwed up. And, but I wasn't a believer. And I ended up just waiting. It was like 5 minutes was like an eternity. Just waiting because nothing's happening. What just happened? I'm just like, quiet. As it is quiet right now. You hear a pin drop. 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, I started thinking to myself, my friends will not believe what I just did the last 25 minutes. And God's sense of humor is, okay. Knock on the door. So my dad and stepmom went cross-country skiing all day. He didn't wake up. He's a pretty light sleeper. I'm surprised he didn't wake up. But I'm not going to answer the door. So they quit knocking, and then I hear my gate, my side gate open on the house. And then I can see lights. Oh crap, you're coming in the backyard. So I get into the covers, right? I have curtains at the time, curtains. We have shutters now, but curtains back in the day, and they were covering windows. So lights are going in. They're slowly walking in the backyard. And all of a sudden I hear my yellow laugh. And I can see the lights, scurrying past my window, back out the gate, and the gate closes. Good dog. So I hear the cars take off a few minutes later. And again, 5-10 minutes go by, like an eternity. And again, same thought. My friends will not believe what I just did. Tons of, you can hear the here's the radio transmissions, Car 24, you're at the scene, we're at the scene here, we're surrounding the house. They are knocking on the door so hard, the walls of the house are vibrating. It's like almost a battering. They weren't, but my dad wakes up. Again, because I'm not getting it. So he goes, he is totally clueless what's just happened, right? 25 minutes. This is going chasing. So goes out, hands the door. What's going on? Your son living here? Yeah. Like, did they have lunch? Yeah. We need to talk to him. What's going on? So they kind of give him the gist, like, what? So I never forget. They come to my door, my bedroom, right? I'm laying there sleeping, right? Because I'm asleep. Heart pounding like crazy. And there's 2 police officers. One's tall, graying, slightly balding, looks like he's pretty close to retirement, elderly. And one is short, pretty good shape, but short, glasses, a perm. And if you've ever seen Saved by the Bell, Screech character, Screech, Saved by the Bell. And he's like a foot short. Come to find out, the short guy was the one who got my license plate. He was the one that saw me at the very end. The elderly guy is the one who saw me run the red light at the beginning. So they have the beginning and the end, right? And I'm like, yeah, Steve, wake up. Police want to talk to you. So I get out of the waterbed. The rookie, the young short guy, he just goes off and, I sleep in your waterbed with your socks on. I'm going, yeah, my feet get cold. And the veteran puts his hand on the back of the rookie's gun. Figures out, yes, this is him. These are his clothes right here. I was right on him. This is him. I go, what are you talking about? It's like, this guy wanted to throttle me. And rightfully so, I should have been throttled. And they tell the entire story to my dad, and it's like, what? So, the cops like 650. I go, yeah. Where's it at? I go, it should be in the garage. So go in the garage, pull the tarp off. The rookie goes and puts his hand on the exhaust pipe. So mind you, my bike has been like 11, 12,000 RPM, kind of like what NASCAR runs when they're on a race, The revolutions per minute of your engine usually on the freeway are at about 2,000. I'm at 11 to 12,000 easily. I had the thing red line the whole time. He puts his hand on the pipe, and it's like instantly you hear the sizzle. And he pulls it off. He goes, yeah. I go, it's hot. So my hand, and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? I go, listen, I was downtown tonight. I'll admit to that, but I was in my truck. I worked down there, and so we go outside, lift up the hood of my truck. Should still feel the heat right there. Go outside, pull the hood of the truck, put their hand in the red. It's still pretty warm. I go, I can't be on 2 things at one time. They're like, they kind of backed off like. So I did not want to go to jail. I did not want to think of what would happen on the way down to jail or in jail. I just hear these stories. So I was just like, I'm denying this all the way through. So anyway, they're there for like an hour. My stepmom wakes up. She chimes in. What? person did what? He can't do that. He's not that good a rider. I'm thinking, tell him. Right there, that's evidence. So, they end up taking pictures of my room, taking my clothing, hauled my bike off, towed it away. And I forget, the officer, commander in charge, night commander, I forget, like it's just Officer Sanchez. This, let's say, is one of the police officers radioing this is my countertop. Here's the fridge. Going in the fridge, grabbing a soda. It's like midnight now. I pop it, go to drink it, and Officer Sanchez, he comes on the horn. He's not happy. Expletives. 2 cop cars been wrecked. I mean, hard to think. Like, oh my gosh, anybody injured? Nobody was injured, but 2 cop cars, and it's like this guy. It's like, hey, listen, his truck's warm, chief, and he's got an alibi. And it's like, so anyways, I'm just shaking. I'm thinking, this is like your worst nightmare. Now, what I had done that night, they sent me a ticket in the mail. They left. Sent me a ticket in the mail. I got a ticket like a week or 2 later. And the ticket was for reckless driving evading the police. So I don't know if you guys know the point system, but how many have your license right now? So right now, hopefully you have 0 points. You haven't gotten a speeding ticket yet, right? But that's how insurance is based on. They'll look at if you parents want to change insurers, they'll go, okay, so how old's your son or daughter, how many points they have on the record, right? And so a speeding ticket's a point, accident's a point, could be 2, depending on that. But reckless driving is 2 points, evading the police 2 points, that's 4 points. Well, back then they were misdemeanors, now they're felonies. You go to prison, guaranteed, right? Deal with what I did. But back in my days, they were misdemeanors. So I'm looking at the envelope, I'm thinking, I got 4 points coming towards me. 1 more, I lose my license. What happens if I get, 4 more? So I go to court. I'm plead not guilty, try to, salvage my driving career, because I need to work and go to school. And I talked to the DA, she was real sweet, she explained, said, you're not gonna lose your license if you get all these points, and you claim guilty. I go, what? She goes, yeah, you're gonna lose your license. I go, you're telling me if I have 2 points now, and I get 4 points, and I admit guilt, I have 6 points, and I still lose my license. She goes, correct, you'll still have your license. You may not get insured. They look at 6 points and go, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna cost $1,000 a day to insure, right? So I was livid at that point because my friend lied to me because of what I just found out. And the elderly police officer that night before he left, because he knew it was me, he's seen enough in his time. He looked at me and goes, I just wanted to ask the guy when he committed the infraction, if everything is okay and if he'd been drinking, because I probably would have let him go. I didn't know there was door number 3, Bob. Choices we make in life. So this is the best question ever. What is the wise thing to do? That's the best question ever. I share this with you guys already? Wise thing to do. In light of your past experiences, your current situation, your future hopes and dreams, what's the wise thing to do? So here's an example. You go home tonight, you get a knock on the door, it's your friend who just got for Christmas a brand new GT 500 Mustang with like 700 horsepower. And they say, let's go for a ride. And they just got their license. So what's the wise thing to do? Wise thing. Don't get in the car, right? So, but even I at that point think, but friends or relatives, that's legal, right? I'm sorry, siblings or relatives, that's legal, yes, but anybody else is not. Yes, you got a year once you get your license before you get in the car. So that in itself. And the person's not an experienced driver. Nobody really can handle that kind of horsepower. There's somebody who's driven those cars for a while. On top of that, you smell alcohol. And you then decide to make the more choice, you get in the car, and then you see a couple empty beer cans. What's the wise thing to do? Probably grab the keys, shut the car off, take them, and have a talk with your friend. It's called intervention. But do we do that? But we might not have a friendship. Trust me, you might save their life. So I'm going to share 3 stories. I may have shared them before, but just for emphasis of this decision in life. Stepdaughter, 15 and a half years old, with her boyfriend. Boyfriend's dad owned a used car lot. Got to drive any car he wanted on the car lot. Kid's been drinking. I don't know how much. We found out about this later. They're driving in an El Camino, souped up. It's kind of lightly raining. He goes around the corner, loses control, hits a telephone pole. Again, she's not belted in. Her temple, her right side, right, is the side that hits the telephone pole right there. Age 15.5, gorgeous. Has to learn how to walk again, talk again, has to be fed. To this day, she's in a wheelchair. And that's been over 4 years ago. Friend Jay, from high school with, hung out, did stupid stuff together. He was an alcoholic in high school. He was so drunk one night, it was after high school, that when we were driving home, ended up hitting a car. The person in the car was ejected out, young lady, and it was foggy at night. Another car came by and ran over and killed her. He had no clue what he had done. People got the license plate, got the car, and make it to his house. Hour or two later, found out where he lived. Police get there. His mom did everything she could to wake him up, finally woke him up, but he is totally to this day oblivious to what he had done. 6 years vehicular manslaughter, 6 years in prison, vehicular manslaughter. Mom, dad, both drank a lot. After my mom ended up totaling the car, she got remarried, ended up moving over to Maui, living over there, and she ended up still drinking. And she actually got to be my wife, but ended up wasn't there at the wedding, didn't get to see her kids born, all that. But she died, I was 20, and she died of pretty much a bleeding ulcer due to alcohol. And she was only 53. So these are choices that we make on a daily basis, life basis. So I bring these stories up to share because a lot of times, you know, we just teach a subject, but you know, a lot of times this is a teaching lesson that I don't want to pass up to know that you guys will be making decisions in life. You're going to go to college, hopefully most of you will. You might get involved with this fraternity sorority, nothing wrong with that, but there's some fraternity sororities that are just whack. I'll just be right up front with that because I've experienced a lot of different things from people who've been in them. Like your 21st birthday, let's do 21 shots. You know, by shot number 8, you're at the point of alcohol poisoning, and I hear stories almost every year of somebody who dies at a fraternity or sorority, doing that 21 shots, and it's like it's a quarter meal. So these are choices you're gonna make on a daily basis. Choice not to do your homework, choice to do your homework, choice to do the lab write-up, choice not to do the lab. Those are minor, right? When it comes to real life things in terms of life or death. So hopefully you can go away and make a wise decision. So again, best question ever: what's the wise thing to do in light of your past experiences? Current situation right now, and your future hopes and dreams. What are your future hopes and dreams? Do you have one? What will get you there? You're gonna make choices that will get you there or not. Questions? All right, you got a few minutes. You have a question, you're great. Come on now, time to